The history of football. What if I told you that the world's most popular sport, played by billions, watched by billions more, may have begun with soldiers kicking around the severed head of a defeated enemy? The brutal origins. The earliest ancestor of football wasn't played with leather balls and grass pitches. It was born in the dust of war. In ancient China, as far back as the 3rd century BC, soldiers trained with a game called kuju. It used a leather ball stuffed with feathers, kicked through small nets. FIFA itself has recognized kuju as the oldest recorded form of football, but the Chinese weren't alone. The Greeks had episkeiros, the Romans had harpastum. While they weren't direct ancestors of modern football, they show just how deeply humanity has always loved the chaos of chasing a ball. Then came medieval England. Here, entire towns played mob football. Rival villages would face off, trying to drag, carry, or kick an inflated pig's bladder to a goal set miles away. There were almost no rules. Punching, tackling, even breaking bones. It was all part of the game. Matches were so violent that kings from Edward II to Edward III to Henry IV repeatedly tried to ban football because it was too violent and chaotic. The bans failed. Football, in one form or another, was here to stay. By the 19th century, Britain's Industrial Revolution was changing everything. For the first time, workers had Saturday afternoons off. And what did they do? They played football. But each town, every school, had its own rules. Some allowed handling of the ball, others banned it. Some favored kicking, others tackling. It was chaos. In 1863, representatives from London clubs met at the Freemasons' Tavern. Out of smoke, ale, and heated debate came the Football Association. They banned carrying the ball by hand and created the first universal rules of association football. The game becomes a game, from England to the world. By the late 19th century, Britain was the world's dominant empire, and football sailed with it. British sailors, merchants, and soldiers introduced the game to South America, Africa, and Asia. In Buenos Aires, British railway workers founded clubs. In Brazil, a man named Charles Miller, the son of a Scottish farmer, returned from schooling in England with 2 footballs and a rulebook. Within decades, Brazil would become synonymous with footballing magic. By 1904, the spread of the game demanded global organization. That year in Paris, 7 nations formed FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Jules Rivet pushed for a World Cup in the 1920s. And while men dominated the sport, women were there too. During World War I, women's football was hugely popular, with tens of thousands packing stadiums to watch teams like the legendary Dick Kerr's Ladies. But in 1921, the FA banned women from playing on official grounds, a ban that lasted until 1971. Despite women's matches drawing in 50,000 fans and more, the English FA banned it, only allowing play at non-league, unofficial venues, claiming it was unsuitable for females as it was harmful to women's health. The FA ban was lifted in 1971, only after pressure from Europe and UEFA to do so. In 1915, the British betting scandal of 2 British clubs was uncovered. Players from Manchester United and Liverpool conspired to fix a match during World War I for betting profits. Their actions led to several players being banned for life. But football didn't stay immune to politics. Mussolini's Italy hosted the 1934 World Cup and turned it into propaganda. There were allegations referees were pressured to ensure Italy's victory. By 1938, war was looming. And after the outbreak of World War II, football's biggest stage went silent until 1950. The first World Cup. Post-war football, a global obsession. The 1950 World Cup in Brazil is remembered for one of the sport's greatest upsets, known simply as Maracanazo. Brazil, playing at home in front of around 173,000 supporters, only needed a draw against tiny Uruguay to be crowned champions. But Uruguay stunned the world, winning 2-1 and silencing the Maracana Stadium. The 1950s brought Hungary's mighty Magyars. The 1960s saw Pelé and Brazil dominate, inventing the beautiful game with flair, creativity, and rhythm. England, the birthplace of football, won their first and still only World Cup in 1966, thanks to Geoff Hurst's famous hat trick at Wembley. The business of football. By the 1970s and 80s, club competitions like the European Cup, later rebranded the Champions League, gave rise to legends like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Liverpool. Rivalries went global. El Clasico in Spain, the Derby della in Madonnina in Italy, Boca Juniors versus River Plate in Argentina. Even rules evolved. The yellow and red card system was only invented in 1970 after referees needed a clearer way to control tempers at the Mexico World Cup. What is known as the disgrace of Gijon in the 1982 World Cup was so notorious it led to FIFA changing rules. During a match in the tournament, West Germany and Austria were playing, which saw it go 1-0 to Germany. Once this score had happened, the two teams passed the ball harmlessly for the rest of the game, ensuring both teams advanced in the tournament at the expense of Algeria. This poor sportsmanship and corruption saw FIFA change the rules of the tournament so that all final group matches must be played simultaneously. But with passion came darkness. Stadium disasters like Heysel in 1985 saw a European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus turn deadly when crowd trouble and a Liverpool fan charge forced Juventus fans to retreat. In the crush, a wall collapsed, killing 39 fans. English clubs were banned from European competition for 5 years. In 1986, Diego Maradona's Hand of God in a World Cup quarterfinal against England saw Maradona score a goal with his hand. The referee allowed it, sparking outrage. However, moments later, Maradona scored again what many call the greatest goal in history. The Hillsborough disaster in 1989 forced the game to reckon with fan safety. Overcrowding at an FA Cup semifinal led to 97 Liverpool fans being crushed to death. Initial police cover-ups blamed the fans, and it took decades later for inquiries to prove negligence by authorities after families of the victims fought tirelessly for justice. The modern global game. And yet, football kept growing. The 1990s saw the Premier League form in England, selling broadcast rights, including its lucrative TV rights deal with Sky Sports, transforming football into a billion-dollar industry. Corruption scandals dogged FIFA, including bribery scandals in 2015, which saw multiple executives of FIFA in Zurich arrested and banned for corruption. Today, football is played in every corner of the globe. The men's and women's World Cup shatter viewership records. The game generates billions, but at its heart, it's still the same as it was thousands of years ago. 1 ball, 2 goals, and the thrill of scoring. But the history of football has been shaped as much by disasters, scandal, and controversy as it has by glory and goals. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and watch our next episode.